All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your Smackdown review for June 21st, 2024. I have not enjoyed a Smackdown like this since probably before WrestleMania when the whole Roman Reigns and The Rock versus Cody and Seth Rollins build was going on. That rivalry was going on before WrestleMania. Man, this is a pretty good Smackdown. CM Punk, especially the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre stuff mainly. Then you had the Bloodline uh, stuff throughout the show, because the Bloodline showed during the CM Punk segment, and then at the end with the debut of Jacob Fatu, a lot of rumors going around that he was supposed to show up even before the Tongas did. So finally get to see him, and now he looks like he's joined the Bloodline, Solo's new Bloodline. So a lot of stuff starting to get interesting. And then you had uh, Solo telling Heyman before the match started, "Oh, Roman's not coming back." And then we thought Drew quit earlier this past week on Raw. He came, obviously he wasn't quitting, but he mm, pretty much bloodied CM Punk and just left him battered tonight. So I thought that was good. And that was easily the best part of the show and the Bloodline stuff. All right, let's get to it. SmackDown was from Chicago tonight. CM Punk's hometown in Chicago. He starts the show pretty much first few minutes of his segment. He's talking about pressure. Says on July 17, 2011. Promised he was going to walk out WWE champion. That's what he did. Says Drew kicked me while I was down. I planned on burying his career 6 feet under. Drew couldn't take the pressure, and he's taken his ball and he's gone home. That's what years ago, what how they spun it when Austin left in what year was that? '02, I think. '02 or '03. Pretty sure it was '02 when The Rock said Austin took his ball and he went home. So they're doing the same type of concept here with CM Punk saying Drew took his ball and he went home. And then out of the blue, Paul Heyman, we just hear, ladies and gentlemen, this very interesting here. So Heyman looks like he's been like emotional and crying all day or whatever. Says on the ride, or he said he would never disrespect CM Punk. I would never disrespect you. And then he says on the ride when they were coming to the arena, he was next to Solo. Says this, he's talking about Punk. Says this man sat next to my children at the Hall of Fame. Talking about CM Punk. You were my best friend. I come in an urgent situation. Then we hear a "We Want Roman" chant break out. Paul Heyman hugs CM Punk, and he says, now that Solo is head of the table, he wants every town to be his town. If you don't get out of here now, they're coming for you. Please get out of here right now. And then we get a FU Solo chant from the crowd. Hostile crowd tonight. Bloodline comes out, pretty much about to attack CM Punk right here. And Solo says, pay your respect to the Bloodline and make sure you never wrestle again. Paul Heyman says to CM Punk, take me with you. So he's trying to leave with Punk. And then Punk says on the mic, Solo, I acknowledge that you are the fake Usos and you're a phony cosplay of the tribal chief. That was a great line by Punk. Bloodline's about to jump CM Punk, and then out of nowhere, Cody Rhodes shows up. Oh, here comes Super Cody with the two baseball bats. He gives one to Punk, and Cody says he grabs the mic. He says, "I already beat one head of the table," and he challenges Solo to a one-on-one match. Says, "You leave your guys in the back. I'll leave Randy and KO in the back." Then we get a segment with Solo. So that segment ends, opening segment. Then we get another segment in the back after the commercial break between Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman. Solo's telling Paul Heyman something about the Tongas. He tells Paul Heyman to tell the Tongas something to do. And then this is where the audio cuts out, the part where he tells them what to do. And then we get the audio back, and he says, "When you come back, we got to have a talk." So, well, eventually later in the show, we found out what Solo said to Heyman before one of the triple threat matches. So now there's a segment in the back. It's the Gargano DIY guys and Champa. They're with talking to Grayson Waller. All of a sudden we hear like banging on the door. It was like the garage door, or whatever, that was behind him. And then the garage door opens, and we get Drew McIntyre standing over CM Punk, and then he's all bloodied and stuff, carrying Punk to the arena, to the entrance ramp where the fans are. So he carries him all the way there, and he just drops him. And then he took a wristband off of his wrist, and he put it in his pocket. Then we have like the referees and officials and security all come out. And Nick Aldis is all pissed off and just fuming at Drew McIntyre. And then they put CM Punk, a bloody CM Punk, into a stretcher. That was pretty much it for that. So I love this. The only thing is, I got a question. It's not sure they should have done this all right away because, right, Drew McIntyre's pissed off. He wants to get his hands on CM Punk. So I thought they should have built up to Drew attacking CM Punk. I thought that could have been better, but since now they've done it tonight. So what do you do from here? How do you move forward from here? So very interesting to see what they do from here on out. So we'll see what happens in the next few weeks. All right, next up we got the triple threat match for a Money in Bank qualifying match between Randy Orton, Melo Hayes, and Tama Tonga. And then before the match starts, says they talk about the audio that was cut out during the Solo Heyman and the Paul Heyman segment. Wade Barrett says what Solo said to Heyman was make sure Randy and KO don't qualify for Money in the Bank match, or for Money in the Bank. So now we know what he said. Randy Orton hit the superplex on Melo Hayes. Tonga broke up the pin. Randy Orton hit the double middle rope DDT on both guys right there in the picture. And then had a bunch of interference. Melo Hayes pins Randy Orton while KO and Tonga Low are fighting on the outside. So Melo Hayes is the second guy to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match in Toronto in a few weeks. All right, next up we got a segment in the ring. LA Knight, let me talk to you. Pretty much calls out Logan Paul. Santos Escobar comes out instead. Santos says you're chasing Logan Paul like a Chicago fanboy. Santos attacks LA Knight while he's not looking, and then LA Knight hits him with a BFT. And then out of nowhere, Logan Paul attacks LA Knight. Pretty much he waits for LA Knight to turn around, and he punches him with his titanium hand or whatever. That was it for that. Don't really care for that. And they're gonna be in a qualifying match. All three of these guys, Santos, LA Knight, and Logan Paul. So I'm pretty much thinking Santos Escobar is gonna win that. And LA Knight and Logan Paul can't stand each other, and they're in a feud right now. So yeah, Santos should win next week. Just don't really care about LA Knight versus Logan Paul. Not feeling that feud. All right, next up we had the triple threat match with KO versus Andrade versus Grayson Waller for a Money in the Bank qualifier. Before the match start or during KO's entrance, Bloodline attacks KO. Randy Orton helps him out. So Randy helps him out, and then the match starts. Andrade hit both guys with running double knee attacks in each corner. KO hit the swanton for a 2 count. Then he hit the stunner. Grayson Waller pulls him out when he goes for the pin, and then Andrade hit like a reverse DDT. He caught him in midair, in midair, and hit and dropped Grayson Waller with the DDT. So Andrade advances. He's the third guy to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match on the guy side. We got Jey Uso, Melo Hayes, and Andrade. All right, next up, we got a main event match. It wasn't really a match because of interference between Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa for the Solo's entrance. Very interesting that Solo told Paul Heyman Roman Reigns not coming back. So it's pretty obvious he's gonna come back. So it looks like it could be next week. I thought it was gonna be at Money in the Bank, but it looks like Roman Reigns could be coming back a week earlier at Madison Square Garden next week. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, looks like Roman Reigns is on his way back. Finally. Been a while. All right, so Cody Rhodes solo match ends in DQ pretty much because of outside interference. Bloodline attacks Cody. Randy Orton and KO come out to help Cody, and then they got Solo surrounded, and he starts smiling. And we got Jacob Fatu. He shows up. He starts beating up all three guys. First, he hits KO with the Samoan drop on the steps right there. Then he speared Randy Orton through the barricade, and then put Cody Rhodes to the announce table. He jumped from the top rope and hit a diving splash on Cody Rhodes, put him through the table, and then he goes back in the ring. Solo hugs him, and the new Bloodline 2.0, and they stand tall. So we had a lot happen on the show tonight. I love the CM Punk Drew McIntyre stuff. Can't wait for that feud to keep going now. See what Drew says next week on Raw, most likely, because they're mostly on Raw. And CM Punk's probably going to be out a few weeks. Maybe Drew qualifies for the Money in the Bank. No, they can't. But this, because CM Punk's come over for a fourth time. Drew McIntyre qualifies for the Money in the Bank ladder match, and then he shows up and screws him over again. I could see that happening, and then they finally had their first match at SummerSlam. We'll see what happens with that. Got the new Bloodline with Jacob Fatu with joining the Soul Sikoa and the Tonga twins with the new Bloodline. Paul Heyman. This dude is so miserable and emotional. Every week it looks like he's been crying and stuff. You know he wants Roman Reigns back badly as the real leader of the Bloodline. Let's just be real. Roman Reigns, not this copycat cosplaying Soul Sikoa, big phony head of the table. Just waiting for Roman to get back. So we'll see what happens with that. Could happen. Looks like could happen next week. Roman Reigns makes his return. And just have to wait and see till next week. But yeah, not that was a solid SmackDown tonight. Well paced through each through the show with the Bloodline segments, and then you had the opening segment with CM Punk and Drew continuing their feud. So overall, that was okay SmackDown, not too bad. All right, that was pretty much it for SmackDown. See ya.